If you want the hard-hitting journalism of...
We'll do it live! Fuck it!
Quite often I need 2 holes so that I can squirt.
And I remember that chili too.
Meet that little bit of resistance. It usually means it's full.
Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
I love chili, but it's not more important than family porn.
Why are you laughing?
We're just children.
Conversations no one wants to have, but everyone wants to hear.
We'll do it live! Fuck it!
This is the Bad Boys Podcast. Welcome to the Bad Boys Podcast. It's been a few episodes, a few weeks between drinks.
Yeah, well, actually, you know what? It's actually been about 3 months.
3 months, no.
I know, right?
Wow.
Crazy.
Well, look, we kind of had to start it off today because we've got a special guest on the show. This is a director and an actor from the US. He's done an epic movie, zombies, death cults, and a host of rock and roll metal artists. I mean, what more could you ask for in a horror movie?
Rock, bring it on.
Michael Lombardi, he's the producer, co-director, star of the new movie, The Retaliators, that is out this week, and we've got him on the show. But first, a few different formats that we're going to be doing this year. Not as long, a little bit shorter, a little bit harder hitting, right?
Right, well, we went out to the people. We contacted all of our listeners and everything like that and said, what is it that you guys want to hear? And they came back and said, basically, less of us. So here we are to deliver it.
Actually, I'm going to call bullshit on that because they want to hear more from me. They actually said less of that furry-faced guy. You know, the one with the big long beard.
Twat.
What have you been doing with your beard? Fuck me, it looks like Santa Claus.
Fucking impressive, mate. My beard is looking outrageous at the moment. It's about 4 inches long off the chin, and it's driving my missus up the wall.
4 inches long off the chin.
Right,
Reminds me of another story.
Yes, but this is actually no, it's not a G-rated show at all.
No, it's not G-rated.
Actually, that was my nickname in high school. Actually,
4
4
inches.
inches off. Yeah, it's another. What have you been doing the last 3 months, mate? I had a little bird tell me.
Yes.
Been a little busy.
I have been busy, yes. I've got a full-time radio gig now.
Right, you are
Yes.
actually now like legit. You're
I
the
am
real
legit.
thing, mate.
Yes, I am. I actually do the long lunch on LAFM in Launceston, and
That's
by long lunch, I don't mean sitting down drinking all afternoon. Which, I
Nothing
mean,
wrong with that.
we do a long lunch all the time. But
Right, yeah, that's pretty much what the show. That's the backbone of the show, really. Us just
Pretty
slowly
much.
getting inebriated.
Pretty much, but no. But this is a legit gig, and as a result of that, we're going to be bringing a lot more higher quality guests on Bad Boys as well.
Nice. And now you're talking. And you know what they used to say? The video killed the radio star. And then everybody saw video of you and went, nah, give us back the radio star.
That's exactly right. I mean, they just can't handle my dashing good looks for that long. Is that what you meant?
That's it. That's exactly right.
I knew exactly what you meant. So, so we've got a whole bunch of topics we're going to be talking about. We're not going to talk for too long today because less of us and more of our guest. But some of the topics that we're going to be covering over the next, however long until Christmas anyway.
Yeah.
However long it takes us, include vabbing.
Yeah, we got to get into that. I've been doing a lot of research on that.
Yes, if you want to know what vabbing is, just look that word up. It'll really fuck up your algorithms, but hey, whatever.
Yeah, hey, don't blame us, as they say. Yeah, look, we are going to have to get into it. So we've got a new king, we've got a new prime minister, and there's actually a European Prime Minister who's getting a pups out, and I reckon that's a good thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, thank Christ that ScoMo didn't get his pups out.
Oh, jumping yas. I don't want to think about that turkey anymore. What a wanker.
Now, you've also said that BMW are going to charge you to use heated seats.
They've got a whole new suite of stuff that they're going to throw at people, which is going to make them, in my opinion, irrelevant and possibly off my shopping list in future.
Yeah, okay. Hopefully that doesn't also go for the Mini as well, which is, part of the whole BMW.
Unfortunately, mate, I hate to say it to you, but yes, they are included in the mix.
No.
Right.
And we're also going to be chatting about a robot that broke a child's finger while playing chess.
Right. A robot, slowly. So, I mean, if this isn't Skynet taking over the world, early stages, but they've got to learn somewhere.
Yeah, it's like, you know what? He's winning. I know what I can do. I'll break his fucking fingers. That's what I'll do.
Right.
Why not?
We also need to cover a whole bunch of stuff like acid trips and rock stars.
Yeah.
Can't wait to talk about that.
Yeah, I like Ozzy Osbourne.
Right. And Hooters sponsoring kids football. Look, hey, it makes me want to actually, just stand on the sideline and root for the kids, so to speak.
But hang on. Even though we're going to talk about this later, who were the ones that cancelled it? I reckon it was the football mums that cancelled that one, because I can't see the dads cancelling that.
Right, and everybody knows it, particularly in American politics, you don't fuck with the soccer mums.
Exactly.
They'll eat you alive.
Exactly.
Right, lots to talk about.
But before we get on to those topics, we need to have a chat with our first guest. Our first guest kicking off the season, Michael Lombardi. He's the producer, the co-director and star of the new film Retaliators, and he has done an incredible job with this movie. I watched it. It really took me back to the 80s horror genres. Think Reanimator, think Evil Dead, think Basket Case, think Brain Dead, and even Grindhouse. You know what Tarantino did with that series of movies. This is just like that. Absolutely loved it. But we're going to play one of the tracks from the movie first. This is Nikki Sixx playing the song The Retaliators, and when we come back, we're going to be chatting with Michael Lombardi.
Right on.
This is the Bad Boys Podcast, Season 4.
Back. Good and fucking proper.
Well, eye for an eye, the throat for the throat. The dream never dies, sometimes it chokes. I wish you were here to show me the way. Who would you kill? Who would you save? And now that you're gone, I've slipped off the rails. I prayed for revenge, but I'm afraid I will fail, because we live in a world where even the angels are retaliators. With blood on my hands, I see the Holy Father tasting revenge, and it's as sweet as holy water. I'm throwing away all the blessings I gave her. 21 bullets, but it's not gonna save her. 21 guns, 21 daughters, 21 sons, 21 bullets, 21 guns, 21 daughters, 21 sons. A fame for a fame, a knock on a rope. The sound of the dead is what gives me hope. But the blood on my tongue and the sweat on my neck, you cannot run what comes for you next. And now that you're gone, I'm stripped off the veil. I pray for revenge, but I'm afraid I will fail. holy water. Retaliators, retaliators. I'm throwing away all the blessings I gave her. 21 bullets, but it's not gonna save her. Retaliators, retaliators. There's blood on my hands. I see the Holy Father. Taste the revenge, and it's as sweet as holy water. I'm throwing away all the blessings I gave her. 21 bullets, but it's not gonna save her. 21 guns, 21 daughters, 21 sons, 21 bullets, 21 guns, 21 daughters, 21 sons. Bad, bad cities.
This is the Bad Boys Podcast. Michael Lombardi, producer, co-director, and star of the new film Retaliators. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Now, I watched the movie last night. Zombies, death cults, a host of rock and roll and metal artists. I mean, what more could you ask for in a horror movie, right?
Hey, those aren't zombies, but
I know. Let's not give away any spoilers here.
I'm kidding. No, yeah, right. Though it's so fun, man. I hope you enjoyed it. It's a fun popcorn movie, right? But with a message too. You might be able to think a little bit about it afterwards. Yes.
A pastor gone rogue, seeking vengeance for the death of his daughter, which is it's always a pretty hard sort of question to make, and I think you've made it even harder too, given the fact that you've made this guy a pastor as well. So it's kind of really going against his, like it's a moral dilemma.
Yeah, it sure is. I think what's interesting, at its core, the film's a revenge thriller, right? It's the oldest story in the book. It's like love, Shakespeare writing about love. It's that primal instinct of revenge of someone. The provocative question and the foundation of the film is built on, if you had a minute alone with the person who killed your loved one, would you take it? And I think what's really interesting about that is the way it's told in this case is my character's a man of the cloth, small town pastor in a little Spielbergian-esque town, modern day, but pastor with who involves music in his sermons, but he's a man of the cloth at the end of the day. So I think if you put anyone in that situation, when that happened, you'd want to seek revenge, right? You'd want retaliation. But when that person's right in front of you and you're eye to eye, would you want to poke his eye out and see blood and do this to him? And I think that's another question that, it's what I think is interesting is half the audience hopefully is like, that guy, I would do it. And then the other half sort of on the fence, but will do it, but questioning a little bit. And I just think it's interesting, that whole concept. And again, it's an age-old story of revenge, but maybe told a little bit different in this film.
Yeah. Now, look, speaking of eye for an eye, and I'm not going to give away any spoilers here, but oh my God, there's a scene which is, I'm going to call the eyeball scene, I think it really throws everything back to 80s, the old 80s horror genre.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
100%. It's practical effects, but that one's good, man. That's my favorite one.
That's a great effect.
It's good, right? That's no joke. And the score during that, the Stranger Things guy scored this movie, Kyle Dixon and Michael Stein, too. Talk about the wing of the 80s, right? So when I'm like, we got to get these guys, and we did. That was amazing. But yeah, the film has a total wink at the 80s, and like there's one-liners, Easter eggs, winks at the 80s. Then the bad guy's supposed to be like the Terminator. I love like those movies where, look, man, he's not a layered character. He's just cold as ice. It's like, this is a bad guy. It's like Javier Bardem in No Country for Old Men, or some of those. That's like more of not an 80s guy, but all those action heroes and those bad guys, Die Hard, all the bad guys. And there's so many winks to the 80s in this movie, and it's inspired by that. So now, me and the writers really are aligned, our tastes in that, in our collaboration in this.
Now, why are the bad guys always bald? I mean, seriously. So the bad guy in this case, Joseph Gatt from Thor, if you remember him from Thor, he's got the bald head and incredible actor, but he just oozes bad guy.
Dude, he's like the Hills Have Eyes guy, right?
Yeah.
He's scary. You know what though? He's such a nice dude. And you know what? You know what's interesting? And like he talks about this, so I don't. He actually, he's in incredible shape, right? And he kicks my ass the whole movie, which was not easy to. He left with some bumps and bruises at the end of the day, but we had great stunt coordinators. He actually has alopecia, which is very interesting. It's an immune disorder. So you're not only does he have no hair on his head, but his eyebrows and everywhere.
Right.
I think what's really interesting about him is the way he really embraces that and embraced the role in this case. And he's learned to use that. You know what I mean? You have to use as an actor, you are who you are. So you have to tap into different things. And, you know, at the end of the day, he's fantastic in the role and his acting's great. It's not just about how he appears, but he's great in the movie.
Yeah, I use that actually myself, you know, my incredible good looks. That's why I'm in radio. So now, speaking of radio and music and all things rock, you got a who's who of the rock and metal industry involved. I mean, Tommy Lee, right? Five Finger Death Punch. Incredible support from these guys. Papa Roach, The Who. How did you get like that level of involvement from the music industry?
Yeah, well, what's amazing is, I had a little band, a little record deal back in early 2000s, mid 2000s, and I used to go write with these two brothers who also had a band, so write music. And years had passed, and I'm like, hey, what have you guys been up to? Writing scripts, send them to me. We always collaborated creatively very well, and our tastes were really aligned, so they did. One of them was the Retaliators. When I read it, all the things we talked about, the Spielbergian, Dante-esque, Gremlins-y beginning into this almost Sin City graphic novel thing that popped off out of the movie and this Western swish, Charlie Bronson into this crazy Tarantino-ish third act with a nod to Evil Dead, right? And Ash. But what also popped off the page was the music. It didn't say, hey, music in this scene or this is the soundtrack, but I was like, oh my God, these like films like Lost Boys, The Crow, Judgment Night, all these amazing movies with great soundtracks back in the day. And I'm like, we got to do this. So I brought it to Alan Kovac, who's the CEO and founder of Better Noise Music, which is a huge management and label. They represent Tommy Lee, Motley Crue, Five Finger Death Punch, Jacoby Shaddix, Spencer Charnas, Ice Now and Kills, Escape the Fate, goes on and on. He has over 40 bands. The guy's a legendary music manager, had the Bee Gees and Meatloaf in the day. Anyway, he said, Michael, let's do this movie. And the goal was for me immediately as an actor, as a filmmaker, as a guy who wanted to play this part and be in a real movie, because I think it's a slow burn and it sits on the highbrow side of horror. And there are the topics of morality, religion, justice. And even though it's a fun popcorn movie, you will think about it hopefully a little bit afterward. You know, maybe you can go out and have a drink or dinner afterward and talk about it a bit. But the point being is that I wanted to put these guys in a very non-gratuitous manner and make it a film first. So if you weren't a fan of Five Finger, maybe you'd think those were actors playing the guys in the motorcycle gang, or Jacoby Shaddix, Papa Roach, who plays the bad guy. I think they're all really great in it. And we really took our time. I talked with each musician. Alan's like, here, call the guys. He's like, here, call Jacoby, call Five Finger. And these are like his guys, you know, and he's like, call them. Talk to them about their part. Let's really, creatively make this a symbiotic thing where, we can bring new fans to the band through film, but yet the music and the musicians are also helping the film. So it was something that really didn't end up sort of being this sort of sticky marketing plan. For me, it was a really fun collaboration creatively, actually.
I think it's great that the music industry really embraced it, and it really has been the thrust of the whole, like the whole push behind the movie has been like this whole collaboration, and especially after what we've all been through in the last few years, this is an absolute breath of fresh air to see it happen.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah. And you know what else beside that? And again, back to my point, the music industry has accepted it so far. I mean, we're getting out into the world in September. However, just from, doing some interviews and talking, it's so wonderful to talk to people like you who've seen the film outside of like, man, listen, this thing's been like a family member to me. 3 years now making this thing through COVID and just I'm so close to it. I could never watch it with the same color, the colors you could, but it's interesting, but I guess that's how it goes. It's really hard to make a movie, and there's a lot of obstacles, and COVID, and throw COVID on, there were just bombs going off all over. But what's cool is we also had a pretty good film festival run, and we were accepted into Fright Fest in the UK, which is arguably one of the top genre festivals in the world. And then here in the States, Scream Fest in LA on Hollywood. We played at the Grauman's Chinese Theater in Hollywood, and we not only got accepted into Scream Fest, but we were their opening night film. So we've had a good run. We played at Monster Fest in Australia, and we really have. We got some accolades, a few awards. So you're like, wait a minute. For me, look, no movies for everyone. I get it. And to me, if it is, then I'm not that interested in seeing it. I want to be moved in some way, whether I'm offended or makes me think or whatever the case is. So when we started to get a little traction in the genre, I was like, okay, this is very exciting. I think, you read a script, you feel a certain way, you want to make the movie, you shoot the movie, it's something different, and then you edit it and it's something different. So it feels to me like right now, some of the stuff that I read in the film read in the screenplay is being picked up by viewers, and I'm like, by audience members, and I'm like, holy cow, maybe we did make the movie that I sort of set out to make to a certain degree.
Yeah, and I think you did too. And look, it's been an absolute credit to you and the cast. Talk about the style, the color grading. I think is fantastic as well. You really sort of captured that like we talked about the 80s sort of color grading of movies. Yeah.
Yeah, that's our DP, Joe Hennigan. Guy's amazing. Pretty hard, like one of the hardest working dudes on set, from beginning to end. You got to put the camera together, break it down. This guy worked so hard, and he was amazing. And he's a close friend and a creative partner, and I can't wait to use him in the future too, because you find that key group and you're like, I can't not do it without this guy or this guy. And you learn a lot. You learn a lot through this process, but he's one of the good ones, man, one of the amazing ones.
Yeah, fantastic. Look, it's going to be seen around Australia on the 14th and the 16th of September. Michael Lombardi, thank you so much for joining us on the show. Get out and see this movie, The Retaliators. Fantastic stuff.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. Be well, be safe, and thanks for your time.
Cheers. Thank you.
Cheers.
This is the Bad Boys Podcast. So there you have it, Michael Lombardi. And if you want to go out and see that movie, it is hitting Australian cinemas all over the place. If you go to the website, you can actually see where it's going to.
Can't wait to see that.
Wednesday night.
Right. And look, I'm not a massive horror guy, right? I'm not. But I'm pumped for that movie.
It was fun.
I just want to see it because of all the good people behind it and the attitude of it all and all that sort of stuff. I think it's going to work.
Yeah, I mean, seeing Tommy Lee as a nightclub DJ, actually a strip club nightclub DJ.
Yeah, actually, I can see that. Yeah, actually. No.
Kind of like, it's like
everyday life for Tommy, really, isn't it?
It's like, if the girls aren't doing it for you, I've got something that I can show you.
Right. Right, and it can touch the floor too, from what I hear.
Next episode, we're going to be chatting about vabbing.
Right, what is it? How does it work? Do you even want it to? Don't miss that episode.
Do not miss the episode at all. Now, we're actually going to get back into the social media again, so you can find us well, we have never really left, but we just haven't done a fucking thing with it. But anyway, if you want to head over to I've nearly forgotten what it is, Official Bad Boys Podcast on Facebook and Instagram.
And of course, we're on TikTok. Not that, I think we've got three followers on TikTok. But anyway, we get there.
Actually, I haven't been to TikTok for the last few months. We've probably got a few more. One of our TikToks might have just completely gone viral.
And we just don't know.
Well, the vabbing one.
We should definitely check that out and talk about it. And of course, don't forget badboysfm.com for all your sultry tunes. Have a bit of a laugh. Listen in anywhere from around the world, virtually ad-free. Music just for you and everyday people like you. So.
Thanks, guys.
Later.
Press plus or follow to hear more great episodes from the Bad Boys. or check us out on our social media at Official Bad Boys Podcast on both Facebook and Instagram.